I'm kind of pitching myself here as somebody who's an experienced investor, but always, I'm definitely new to this business as well. I just want to speak about this product and just how much, it has really helped me, propel myself, get better with talking with sellers, actually be able to close a deal. My strategies right now have been primarily direct mail, cold calling, and cold texting. And I've found a lot of success with Real Estate IQ, especially being able to get in front of customers, have engaging conversations. And of course, I'm hoping to use all of that to build my own business and eventually retire off.
Excited to be here, and I want to say a big thank you to Real Estate IQ. They have the absolute top leads in the industry and just make investing effortless for all of us as real estate investors here in Texas and obviously everywhere else that they're focused. And I'm proud to be associated with Real Estate IQ. Love what you guys do and love how you all help investors so that we can focus on the thing that makes us the most money, which is the job of real estate investing.
I wanted to jump on this morning and give a shout out to Real Estate IQ. I began my journey with them a few years ago, just using some of the more basic products, the off-market leads. And since then, growing and visiting and talking with not only Steve, but other people who are involved with Real Estate IQ, I've had the opportunity to actually not only be a client, but I also became an investor with them. And that is one of the beauties of being able to be part of Real Estate IQ, is it gives you the opportunity to grow as an investor, especially in real estate.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. So we are on the 2nd of July now. It's a new month, new quarter. We have some interesting changes that's gonna affect how investors play, and we're gonna do a kind of preliminary look at the new Housing Act that has passed Congress and waiting for presidential signature to sign into law. This is called the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. There's a lot of information there. That's why we're just gonna kind of touch a little bit of it today, and then we're gonna we'll probably go over maybe half of the information. We'll touch the other half next week, and then another thing we'll do is we'll also kind of look into the deep dive of how it affects us as investors. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit of our theme for this month. A lot of new things that are happening here with Real Estate IQ. We have started adding investment deals in our offering as well, in addition to distressed seller leads. So you may start seeing information about the deals from our communications. And as you've been following us, you probably also see and know that we started adding those in our offerings and our inventories. And along with that, we also have hot leads and warm leads as well, right? Traditionally, we've been offering the distressed seller leads that are ready for outreach, but they're cold leads, right? Cold leads means they have a problem, they don't know a solution, they don't know you. When we bring you the appointments and hot leads, this person is kind of ready. They're already, they need help, right? They raise their hand, they need help. So it's much easier to convert them into deals. So we have those as offering too. Another thing is we have news and insights on our website. So make sure you consistently follow our website on a weekly basis. You're going to see some top highlights of what's going on in the market. And as I mentioned before, just staying on top of the current, 30-year mortgage interest rate is a huge kind of a way to display our expertise when we talk to distressed sellers, right? Because they need to sell, and kind of understanding the buyer market, seller market dynamic, and how it's affected by the current mortgage rate. It just builds so much credibility in a phone call with them. Okay, let's get started. We're gonna have a relatively short session, maybe about 30 minutes. And if it goes a little bit longer, that would be fantastic. All right, so success stories, lots of deals here, where when you're a client, you're no longer limited by the number of leads you have. You're going to be limited by your ability to follow up, your ability to do outreach, to follow up, to get the deal under contract, and then closing of the deals, right? So kind of a lot of the operational logistics side. When it comes to leads, Real Estate IQ is going to be able to solve that for you. In fact, Ismail, a longtime client of ours, he has made many deals with us. And in fact, we just made a deal with him that closed yesterday. So everything that we showcase here is information purposes only, right? There are times where we show you some of the projects that are currently in work, just kind of show you what the flavor looks like as a rehabber and kind of turning houses into a rental. What the progress looks like. We could potentially show some of the deals that we're underwriting. That's the acquisition phase. And so, but all of these are just kind of case by case studies. Right? Every deal is different, and we don't offer investment, financial, or legal advice. And if you need help closing a deal, right? Either you have a lead or you need a lead, come to us. If you have a lead, you don't know how to kind of put that under contract, you come to us. And how to coordinate and distribute the deals, you can also come to us. We can help you, walk you through it. We're actively looking for deal partners, right? Folks that we can partner with and we can do many deals with. So would love to talk to you. And one of the good news that we have is the expansion kind of coverage of our offering. We are now covering about, 22 states, kind of the major counties in these 22 states. And we're also going to start working on, in this quarter, the states that are in yellow color. So if we're done with that, we're going to be, kind of major coverage here. The red ones are a lot harder based on our research and development, but the yellow ones could be coming soon. And at least for right now, quite a few states that you can market to. If you're already in those states, right, that's a really key advantage that we can offer you. And if you're, buying remotely, now you have access to 22 states. So let's go over some market updates. All right, we always stay on top of the mortgage interest rate, right? As the mortgage rate now edges a little bit lower as of, let's see, June 26th. So basically the end of last week, we are seeing purchase application going up. That means it leads to a buyer demand increase. And that is 3 months now of year-to-year growth, which is a good news that moderates the fact that the sales of properties have slowed down, and we're seeing a higher inventory, months of inventory across the market. Overall, it's still heightened comparing to the COVID time, but kind of historically at around 6% or so, it's still historically low. Home buyers, we're seeing that they could be stepping back in. And another thing to kind of stay on top of is this Housing Act that's going to have some policies that helps to make the homes more affordable as well. And we're going to go over a little bit of that today. So speaking of housing affordability, we've been looking at the mortgage rate being around 6.5%, and while some say that the broader economy is resilient, the high borrowing cost is contributing to the affordability factor. And again, the bill is gonna touch on that, and there are some items about how the Congress plans to adjust for the affordability. And actually, we've been looking at that in the past month or so to kind of evaluate the viability, and we're about to work on launching a pilot project on that, and we're going to go over that a little bit. Okay, increasing inventory. Some of the inventory level is starting to get quite high, actually, higher than normal in Texas, and that's gonna shift the power more to the buyer side, and it's turning more and more into the buyer's market, and the sales price has been dropping as well. So as a kind of selling season, right? This summer has been spring, summer. It has not been so well for sellers that are looking to sell, and I've spoken to a lot of distressed sellers the past few months, and the house is just not moving. And so this is actually a great opportunity for investors, right? If you're a wholesaler, you're gonna find that it's very easy to get deals under contract because you just have a lot of desperate sellers that don't have a lot of negotiation power, don't have a lot of interest. And if you are a buy and hold type of investor or fix and flip, from an acquisition side, it's easy for you to find the good deals. Obviously, if you're a fix and flipper, when you're trying to exit, it might be harder to find a solid buyer when it comes to exit. So just gotta be conservative in the numbers that you want. Okay, I'm gonna run over this feature deal really fast. We actually need to update these slides to talk about some of the new deals we have on our list. But here we have Dallas in Little Elm. This is a sub 2. If you're interested in all the deals that we have, you can visit our website and request it, right? Ask the chatbot or fill out the form, and then we're gonna send you a full list of all the deals that we currently have under contract. We have a Lancaster. This is a short sale, so it's gonna take a while to get it ready. It's really close. It's actually walking distance to downtown Lancaster. It's just a lot of repair. There's foundation repair. There's a lot of stuff. So it's a big project. It's not. I wouldn't recommend it to a new investor, but if you're an experienced flipper and you like the Lancaster area, this could be a good opportunity for you. In the Houston area, we just closed this deal. There's a short sale in Freeport. We got sub 2 in Houston. We're about to close on this one. Conroe, this is also a short sale. Full share, this one is getting close to closing as well. It's pending. And then this is also another short sale. Beautiful house in Freeport, right by the beach. And the owner has fashioned it as an Airbnb. So, if we're able to kind of put it in a good offer and acquire it, this would be a really good property. Okay, and then we have Austin area. We have a sub 2 in Elgin, and then also another sub 2 in Riverview. That's coming. All right. Okay. So, if you're already in our subscription list, you're gonna see a lot of these items. And generally, these are the programs that's designed to help you get going, right? Ready to roll up your sleeve and get busy doing the deals. We can get you going really fast. The deal accelerator is geared towards someone that's just getting started, and you need to get the deals, right? You gotta get your experience, get your hands dirty. We can get you the deals, but we will, more importantly, we would kind of teach you the operating rhythm and everything that you need to consistently get deals, right? Build a pipeline. And then a deal partner is kind of the key that we're focusing on. As your part, if you're a new join our accelerator program, our intention is to train you to become a partner. And if you're already, actively doing deals, right, we're looking for a key partner in every market, every county that we're in, because we want to send you everything you need to kind of build up your pipeline, right? Grow your pipeline, and we want to do profit share with you. Okay, so this is our key topic today. Who is excited about this Housing Act? There's still a lot of moving parts, but really good to kind of be in front of everything. The couple of things that I have kind of learned throughout my career that I think is very helpful is we want to know where the trends are happening. And the trends are usually happening, right? Because as entrepreneurs, what are we looking at? Right? We want to look for key opportunities where it's not like overly crowded yet, right? And we want to really ideally be the established player before other people start noticing it. So where are some of these kind of trends that's kind of creating the opportunity that no one else is jumping on? Well, we've been talking about AI, and I think AI is still very, very early in the game. AI has been very technical. So if you're an engineer, it's super awesome because it's very easy to use and adopt. Before that, you need to be a technical kind of software person to really kind of understand how to use it well and kind of set it up on your personal computer. Now it kind of has reached a point where someone who's not very technical like myself, we can use it, we can adopt it, and we can start using it for our business purposes. And the key here for entrepreneurs, I think, is that we understand the business problem that needs to be solved. if it's an engineer, they understand they are solving a problem, but is there a real business problem? They have that pain point. And so somebody who can kind of understand the problem and can build a solution. Well, I don't necessarily need an engineer to build that solution for me anymore. AI can do a lot of that for me. And so that's gonna kind of create a big one. So I highly recommend, everyone that's listening in now to start learning how to use AI, how to build AI agents to help you do things. I'm even getting like AI to help me do shopping. I find the best deal for me. It's able to do that. So anyway, we save that to a different conversation on the AI, and I think it's an ongoing conversation. How do we use it better? We can learn together. How do we use AI to kind of optimize a lot of what we do so we can do more? We can achieve more. We can create more value, right? Make more money. The second one is legislation, right? So technology is going to create a rift. Legislation is also going to create a rift. So staying on top of legislation is going to give us a leg up too. So that's why we're presenting kind of right. We want to really follow this new act here. Oh, I need to switch my presentation. Okay, we're gonna go over the first seven slides, and then we'll go over the rest later next week. Okay, bring this down. Okay, I think everyone can see my screen. Okay, so this is as of July 1st, right? We prepared this last night. And what this final bill, we're going to talk about what this final bill does, right? And the idea of it and how it's going to impact us. We're going to talk about what we watch for in Texas. But, again, I know a lot of folks from the audience also are potentially in another state, or you are investing in other states. So you can also kind of see a lot of how it applies to your particular market. So there are 12 policy titles. And one thing to kind of pay attention to is what this is, the SFR threshold. That's the number of single family rentals, right? SFR stands for single family rental. How many properties a institutional investor can hold. And then there's some exceptions. Anyway, we have to go through detail. So as of July 1st, the bill has gone through progress and is waiting for presidential action. And why is this important to, I guess, and if you really follow, you would have seen that on June 29th, President Trump did not sign it. And he even made a comment that nobody cares about housing. So we'll see how the negotiation goes. I think there's a lot of interest in play here. But kind of the idea is that if it doesn't sign, after 10 days, it will still kind of go into a law unless there's an active veto. So we'll see what happens. So we want to stay on top of the effective dates and how it impacts our market. Okay, so what the enrolled tax, right? That's the basically the law. This act is a operative congressional text, but it's not a signed law, and also it's gonna take time for the housing departments, right, all the different departments involved to implement it, right? So what does that really look like? We have a lot to follow here. So the big theme of this bill is about institutional SFR limits, institutional single-family rental limits. It's about permitting changes and also manufactured homes. Okay, and then the different lenders and how it affects lending. I think we're not going to talk about lending today. We're going to focus more on the first three. Okay, so kind of one of the key one is, we have heard investors complaining that institutional buyers are buying up a lot of properties during COVID and holding it, and how that happens. What that does is that it drives up the market value. And one thing that somebody pointed out to me is that real estate is a really funny thing, because the value of real estate is driven by very few transactions that are happening in the market today. So you kind of have very few transactions that drives the market, right? And so from a kind of a national standpoint, we don't want all these large institutional buyers. Back then when they were acquiring, they were driving up the market. But now we don't really want them to dump all the properties. We don't want them to divest either, because if they all dump the properties onto the market, it's going to flood the market, and then the real estate market is going to crash. So it's kind of against many people's interest. So this threshold is going to kind of, I guess, slow down the buying of institutional buyers. But at the same time, it doesn't force them to divest. They can still hold. Okay, so that's one of the key reading I have here. And then you also want to talk about, you want to pay attention to lands and different things. So anyway, we'll go over the other ones. So then for the institutional buyers, the headline is that there's a purchase restriction for the SFR, institutional SFR. It will be effective in 180 days, and we have a 15-year sunset. So now, one thing that we want to pay attention to also is that a lot of the key here of kind of a new law is in the exceptions. So what are the exceptions? The exceptions is gonna limit to down here, buy to rent, right? BTR, servicing, homeowners programs, and also it's not on this slide, on foreclosures. So for foreclosure purposes, for foreclosure purchases, it does not limit these institutional purchases. So these are the couple of items that are exceptions. Okay, so if it's built to rent, they can hold more. If it's renovate to rent, which means we're rehabbing into renting, there's no restriction there. Rent to own programs, there's no restriction. Loss mitigation, foreclosure, type of acquisition is also not part of this transaction, not part of this restriction. And then the age 55 plus communities, also not part of the restriction. Okay, so that's very important, because we're gonna still be competing on those lanes, right? Okay, now when it comes to like land and all that, right? So kind of the key takeaway is the infill environment. Okay, so there is permitting that makes it easier for buying infills, and we'll see how it kind of comes together with the manufactured homes. Right, infills are gonna be easier for permitting purposes, right? To create more housing. And then another thing is the public land database is gonna be available starting on October 1st, and I think we also want to jump into that and see how we can offer some of this data for everybody. This is one of the key slides, and we're gonna talk about this in a little bit more detail. The whole idea of the affordable housing is that it's kind of two things. One, with the current interest rate, existing homes have become, the price has become so high that it's hard to afford, right? And then newly built houses, they are still very high, and also they are not keeping up with the housing demand. So we have, in general, a housing shortage. And what my interpretation of this law is that it's gonna, we want to look into how we can bring more housing to our nation. And the answer here is infill lots and then manufacture homes, right? Putting a manufactured home on there. So how they're gonna make it easier is that they're gonna expand the definition of what is a manufactured home. They're gonna make it easier to get financing. So it has always kind of been the way where you can put a manufactured home onto the land and then and getting it qualified for FHA. So they're gonna make it easier. So now a buyer who can qualify for FHA loan, they're gonna have the financing to purchase these manufactured homes. I don't know what your stance is with manufactured homes and what your impression is for manufactured homes, but in general, they can be produced in a much cheaper way because they are mass produced in an area instead of on site. And the quality of these houses, depending on where you look, they can be very highly. They're very solid. I've seen some wood framed manufactured homes that is built on their site, and then you can move it to the site that you want to put the house in. Very, very solid. We're actually embarking on a project to bring some of that to the Texas Triangle. So this opportunity is strongest, right? It's for kind of modular homes, manufactured homes. The land infill cost is still low in a lot of rural area, and it's gonna encourage proliferation of affordable housing in these communities, these more rural communities. So we're gonna stop here. And I don't know if you have comments or whatnot. I think this is kind of the key takeaway, which is look into manufactured homes, right? We still have opportunity of buying existing homes that are distressed, but if the opportunity can be having lots and putting a manufactured home or modular home in there, and then just make all the connections, right? So I think we're fortunately we seem quite well positioned to kind of take advantage of these opportunity, which is we already started the research and all that stuff in making the connections, and so this act we're going to follow this very closely to see what additional opportunity it's gonna bring to us. And we still see a lot of a need for kind of rural communities that need high quality housing. People want to move out of the city where it's more expensive. But then the challenge is that a lot of the housing in those communities are old and abandoned. They're not livable. And so here, this is gonna bring a stock of new houses, right? That are again good quality and affordable. And so we're gonna see what kind of incentive are available to really encourage that. But obviously, kind of being the first in the game is half the game. Okay, we're gonna stop here. A couple of additional upcoming topics we're gonna go over in the upcoming weeks is the rest of the slide here, and we're gonna do a little bit deeper dive too. How do we play this, right? All this is kind of headline. We're gonna do more deep dive and really understand how we can take advantage of these legislations. And then another main topic that I want to do is to arrange to have a speaker to join us and teach us the sub two in a deeper manner. What I try to say is there are two sides, right? If we're gonna make a deal for a sub two, and why do we care about sub two? It's because houses that are facing foreclosure, the sellers, a lot of times they don't have equity in the they don't have equity in the property for a cash offer. So what that means is, okay, seems like one of the more viable way is to do a sub-2 transaction. So what does sub-2 mean for the seller, right? How do we help them? And how do we structure it so that it's advantageous for them, and it's we can explain to them what's the advantage and what's the pros and cons, right? Let's be real. I find that they appreciate kind of being straightforward and telling them, okay, here's the pros, here's the cons, here are all your options, and then let them make their decision. I try not to sell anything, right? Let them make their decision. We're all adults, grown-ups. And on the other side is, well, we want to structure it so that there's a buyer, right? And if the buyer is interested, we make the transaction. We can make a fee. So from a buyer standpoint, what are they looking for, and what are their criteria? So I want to invite a speaker that can teach on one side, right, how to structure it, how the sellers think, how we can make it, and how we can structure the deal. And on the other side is, as a sub-2 buyer, what are they looking for? So when we structure the deal, we already know how to make that match. So that's gonna coming in the rest of July, and so you can just keep following these weekly deal makers meetings, same time, same day, every week. If you have questions, let us know. And that's all I have for you today. Maybe let me bring back that one last slide that we have. Let me see what other content we have prepared for you on these. So Q&A, well, upcoming events. Okay, so we got classes, talks about how you can find distressed properties and how you can build wealth in real estate. What are some strategies, right? And then we will talk about the actual techniques. So if you haven't attended these classes, make sure you attend them. These are a couple of live events. The office hours is where we discuss the deals live. And if you have questions, right, or just want to meet me, you can join here. You can scan this QR code. It will take you to a link where you can sign up for these events. And to end today, most important thing is taking action. I think we don't learn until we take action and make mistakes. So I think it's very important to if you feel that you have seen enough, you have learned enough, right? You're ready to kind of put this into action. That's my biggest encouragement. Take action, just keep rolling. You will start running faster, and you start, seeing real estate as a true career for you. So we'd love to meet you in person, and that's all we got today. I'll see you next week, and if you join our office hours, I'll meet you in person there. All right, thanks everybody. Talk to you later.